Hello and welcome to a humble Highland home. Thank you so much for joining me here today. We have some lovely sunshine today, so I'm heading up to the kitchen garden to start planning for my seed sowing, and I've got some planting to do. It can really make such a difference when the sun comes out. Everything just feels so much better. But I'm under no illusion that this is just a false spring, as we normally have some winter weather before the true spring starts again. I showed in my last video the rhubarb that I had bought as it was on offer and I couldn't resist it. Now normally when I plant rhubarb I do it in autumn time, so it's got the winter period under a blanket of yummy mulch to allow it to settle into its new home. I do have to smile to myself when I hear and read other growers' passion when it comes to seed sowing timelines. Personally, I would just do my own research, and specifically for my own part of the world, as it can be so different in different climates. Some areas of the UK, their estimated last frost date could be the middle of March, and here in the Highlands where I am, our estimated last frost date is the middle of May, so that is a 2 months difference. Some people do like to start their seeds off earlier by using a heated propagator, a hotbed, or maybe some grow lights. I don't use any of these things at the moment, and over the years I've been experimenting here on the croft, and sometimes I get the timings right and the next year I can do it exactly the same and the outcome be so different. I do keep a note of my experiences though, and I would recommend having a notebook that you can write down all your experiences. This is really good to look back on. But remember, in gardening, principles are all the same, but there's so many different methods. So if you are new to gardening, you're in for a very exciting but sometimes disheartening ride. So yes, I would have preferred to plant this rhubarb in autumn time, but the next best time is now. I'm going to be planting this rhubarb in these black containers as an addition to my container garden. Some may end up in the ground eventually, but not for a few years, as rhubarb does not like to be moved. It likes to stay where it's planted. I did dig up my old rhubarb plant from my previous house and brought it with me here to the croft, but it really wasn't very happy and it's taken a while to re-establish itself, but happily it is now sprouting once more. With newly planted rhubarb or rhubarb that's been moved, I would work along the basis of it being a couple of years before we'll gain anything from them. I usually work by the first year is the year of settling down and feeding the crown, and the second year we should see a few thinner stems, and then the third year we should see the start of a good harvest. It is only after this that I could think about adding forced rhubarb to our gardening calendar. And this would only be every few years, as I would want to keep our rhubarb crowns strong and healthy. I'm going to plant these new additions in a mixture of compost that had tatties in them last year, lots of very well rotten homemade compost, some broken down wood chip and some yummy old manure. I store all our well-rotted compost, wood chip, manure and leaf mould in all compost bags until I'm ready to use it, and that way I can make or gather more, and hopefully that will be ready when I need it too. This saves so much money when I don't have to buy as much, and I know where everything has come from, and I also know that it's not got any nasties in it all. I can use it with confidence, and given rhubarb are very hungry plants, so they should be happy with their new homes and their nutrient base to feed them. I'm going to soak all the crowns for about an hour before planting them in the tubs. And of course, I have my little helper. The rhubarb crowns that I'm planting are a variety called Red Champagne, which is an earlier variety, so they should start to produce stems earlier in the year than the other two rhubarb plants that I have. Being of an early variety, I'm hoping that these rhubarb, once they've established, will be perfect for forcing in a couple of years. Forcing rhubarb just means to exclude the light in the early spring months and to provide additional bit of heat, which forces the rhubarb to grow when it wouldn't normally be growing. You can purchase bell-shaped clay pots to go over the top of the rhubarb to force them, or you can just use any dark container that's going to exclude the light. Forced rhubarb should be ready in approximately 8 weeks after first covering, and you should have some blanched pale pink sweetened stems. As I said before, forcing rhubarb can take a lot from the root crown, so it would be best practice to keep alternating the forcing over your plants each springtime and then leave the plant to grow on naturally. In Yorkshire, I've seen rhubarb grown in containers and then brought into a dark shed to force the rhubarb to grow. The rhubarb is then traditionally picked by candlelight. Yorkshire is very well known for being one of the country's largest producers of forced and field grown rhubarb, and there is an area effectively known as the Rhubarb Triangle, and this is formed by 3 areas in West Yorkshire which meet at a point, and these are Leeds, Wakefield and Bradford. Studies have shown that rhubarb was first recognised for its medicinal properties. It can help lower bad cholesterol, it's high in vitamin K, manganese, it can help with digestion and can contribute to healthy bones. It was then that it was added to fruit pies, and in some areas of the world it has a nickname of the pie plant in reference to rhubarb pie. But please remember that it is the stems that are edible and not the leaves. The leaves are poisonous, but they're perfect to add to the compost bin or to use as a garden mulch. And once planted, rhubarb really does look after itself. I only add mulch high in rotted manure in autumn time and leave it to die back for overwinter, ready to start its perennial growing again the following spring. I must remember to label these pots. I always think that I'll remember what's in that pot, but I won't in a few busy months as I start to move things around. And given we have 2 outdoor, very inquisitive kittens, I'm going to be digging out some net cover to cover all the pots to prevent digging or any unwelcome gifts being left for me. Thank you so much for joining me here today. I hope you've enjoyed the video out in the sunshine for a change. Take care of yourself and others, and I'll see you in the next video.